yesterday was a show. Okay, hi everybody. I just wanted to make a video about my experience at Harry's show yesterday at Chicago, and particularly my Laneone experience, because I have these tickets that are like special or something. So, big disclaimer, if you're not a Harry stan or a 1D stan or just like a fan of Harry Styles, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. Don't worry. This video is kind of just like if you want to get Laneone in the future and you need like some kind of opinion or someone else's experiences on it, which mine are pretty positive, so that's why I just wanted to put that out there. And I'm also talking about just the show in general and like things that happened during the show that I just wanted to touch on. So there's probably a lot of things that won't make sense if you don't keep up with Harry Styles, or if you're not a fan and not very indulged with everything else, okay? So that's a big disclaimer. But if you just want to watch this video because you want to watch it, that's totally cool too. I mean, that's fine. And remember, can't really see it, but treat people with kindness. So don't be writing bad comments, because I'm saying a lot of things that are deemed political, and I don't want people to get angry because this is just my opinions, and it doesn't reflect all Harrys, and it doesn't reflect Harry Styles, because I can't speak for him. I don't know the man. I just like his music, and I like him as a person. So this is my experience with Laneone, Harry / Kacey, and everything that's happened yesterday. So yesterday was a Chicago show, and let me tell you, it was the best show, hands down, I've ever been to. I've been to a lot of random shows. This is my third time seeing Harry. I saw him in his fall tour in DC. I saw him this tour in Hershey, his first stadium, and then this show in Chicago. So this is my first arena show seeing Harry. It was an incredible experience. It was amazing. It was just absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I'm just talking about everything here. For people who can't see Harry, I'm really sorry. And, you know, for other people who just want to watch this in general. So, like I said, I've gone to multiple concerts. I've gone to a lot of random shows. I've seen Harry. I saw One Direction back in, I think it's 2014. I saw them for their Where We Are tour. I've seen like Wiz Khalifa. I've seen like B.O.B. I've seen Of Monsters and Men. I've seen a lot of random people. But Harry's the only person that I truly stan and that I would actually spend money on to go see. So there's that. So I'm going to talk about my whole entire day from start to finish yesterday, and in between talk about Laneone, and then some of the situations that happened yesterday, because if you're on Twitter, or if you follow me on Twitter, you know about like the situation that happened at the United Center and the security guards and everything. So it's not horrible, it's not terrible, but it's just a lot of problematic things that happened yesterday. So to get into the video, yesterday morning, woke up. I'm in Chicago, obviously, for the show. I'm from Pittsburgh, so I traveled here to see the show. Only person I'll travel for, Harry Styles. So I'm here in Chicago. I woke up yesterday, and I know people camp overnight, but I wasn't going to do that because it's been very hot in Chicago. I've never experienced the heat in Chicago like this before. This is like a second home to me. I've been here multiple times, but I've never experienced heat like this. Like, I'm African, but the heat, the heat, man, it was crazy, and the humidity. So I had in my mind already that I was going to stay home for most of the day and then head over to the venue in the afternoon. But things changed when one of my mutuals, Val, messaged me on Twitter and said that they're letting the Laneone people into the venue for air conditioning. So that was super awesome. I almost thanked the Lord that it was super hot, because if it had been like in the 80s or the 70s, they'd still be sitting outside, so I wouldn't have gotten the spot that I've gotten yesterday. So I was like, heck yeah, I got dressed. I made sure I had everything in my backpack, everything I needed, snacks, water, money, all that good stuff. And I headed over to the venue. So for lane one of the perks is that they give you reserved parking, or they give you an Uber credit. So they give you $50 for the Uber credit, and that's $25 there and $25 back. I did not reserve parking because I totally forgot a week ago, because you're supposed to do a week ahead of time. And I didn't know if I would have a car, because where I'm staying with my sister, and she and her husband and their dogs have traveled. So I was going to be home alone. And I didn't know if she was taking her car or his car or whatever. So I didn't reserve parking. So I took the Uber instead, which she lives about 25 minutes away from the venue. Very convenient, because the Uber that I requested was $25.08. I requested the most expensive one. There was the 3 options, and the first one was the cheapest, obviously, but I just wanted to get close to 25 as possible, because where I live in Pittsburgh, we don't have Uber, because I live in a suburb. So, yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna need to use this credit like in full as much as I can. So I requested the most expensive one. I had all my things ready. The Uber came really quickly, and I got into the car. She took me to the venue, and there I found my way into wherever the lane one people were supposed to go in, because this venue is enormous. There's so many doors, and I didn't know what was happening. But shout out to Val, my mutual, who messaged me and let me know where to go, what's going on. And so I got there, and people were already in line, sitting in line. And one of the girls that had camped out had made these wristlets that just say like lane one unofficial, unofficial line. Okay, and they are all numbered. And so everybody has one that's already in line. So I got there, and I was able to find the girl that had these, Naomi. She was super sweet. Got to interact with Harry, that I'll talk about later on. And so she gave me a wristlet, and I'm number 30 out of 50 or 60 people for lane one. So I'm quite in the middle, and I'm not too fussed about it, because I'm super excited to be there. I've never been this close to Harry. At the Hershey show, I was quite close. Because it's a stadium, the pit was like in the middle, and then the floor on the sides, and I was on the floor first seat. So I was very close to the stage, but this would be like new territory for me. I've never done this before. So 30, I was super happy, super great. I had all my snacks, my water. I was fine for the rest of the day. I met one of my mutuals, Beck. I met Val, and we just talked and hung out. And it was so cool talking to Harry stands in real life, because of course we talk on Twitter and everything, but being able to see them and like see their personalities and everything, it was just super sweet. Beck and Val were really sweet people. I'm so glad I met them. And so I got there around 10:30, and I waited a bit. My friend Kennedy, who's also a mutual on Twitter, the first time I met her as well, came around 12, so like I got her inside, and we got her a wristlet and everything. It was all chill. And for most of the day, we just sat and talked, because there was nothing else much to do. But that like time flew by because of that, because it was like, for me, I was there at 10:30, so 10:30 to 4 flew so fast. Like, I couldn't believe how fast the day had gone. And then sometime during the afternoon, the Lane One ambassadors came around, and there were 3 women, and the one in charge was super nice. All of them were super nice, but the one in charge was super nice. She had snacks for us, and if we needed anything, to talk to her. And it was just a very pleasant experience, maybe because we're also inside in the air conditioning. I'm not sure if that happened for any of the other venues, but that was super pleasant. Everything was super nice. It was quite cold because of the air, but anyways, it was just really good. And so around 4:30, we lined up. We got in our unofficial line with our numbered tickets, and we stood in line for a while, and until the ambassadors came back, and they gave us they checked our tickets to make sure we actually had lane one. because you don't want to not have lane 1 and be the lane 1 line. So they checked if our tickets were correct, which everyone's was correct. And then they checked, they didn't check. They gave us a lanyard that had a number on it, and I actually got number 29. I guess somebody who had been ahead of me was running late or something, so they didn't check in with us at that time. And so it was push-up 1 number, which was cool. And so we wait a bit. We get these wristlets so they know that we're lane 1. We got 3, so there's one that's just like plastic. Not plastic, but this one's plastic. But this one's like rubber, and then this one's cloth. So that was cool. And then we get let into the venue, and they give us a little drink voucher. And I'm over 21, so I got an actual alcoholic drink to just loosen me up before the show. So that was really fun. And we weren't allowed to peek through the arena because that's like giving away what's happening or whatever. So if we did that, we would lose our privileges to get in early. So everybody made sure they didn't do that. And so everyone's just chilling inside the venue. We're having a good time. And then it's time, to line up so we can actually get into the arena. So we line up, and everyone's super excited. We're all on our numbers. We're all having a great time. And then the security guard comes up to these few girls in front of me, and they had pride flags, like little pride flags on a stick. And he came up to them, and I've never seen someone be so rude to another person that they didn't know. I understand he was doing his job. I completely understand that, but the security guard was so obnoxiously aggressive, and just, it was like very disrespectful the way he was talking to these girls. And he's like, where did you get those? How did you bring those in here? And like, he was so mad, I thought that he was kidding. Like, he was joking, and he was just gonna be like, oh, have a good time, whatever, blah, blah. But he was serious. This man was serious. He was upset with us. And they're like, we just brought it in. And he's like, I'll take those. You're not supposed to have those here. So the girls were like, they didn't fight back. They didn't know what to do. So they're just like, okay, you can have them. And he gave it to them. And like, this happened in the middle. So I like I said, I'm in the middle of the lane 1 line. So I don't think the girls in the front could see what was happening. And some of the girls in the back couldn't see what was happening. But the girls near me were like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. And like, I watched this man go over to another girl who's in VIP. So the VIP is different than lane 1. Those were sold by Ticketmaster. Lane 1's a completely different company. So he goes to this girl who has VIP, and she has like a tiny pride banner. So he goes over to her, and she's just sitting down holding it, and he's like, give me that. And she's like looking at him, and he's like, you're not supposed to have that. So she just gives it to him, and he like goes stalking off. And I was like, that is just like the most odd behavior I've ever seen towards a flag. Like, that was weird to me. Especially with like the meaning behind pride, like it's not hurting anyone. That was like the biggest thing. Because like, of course there's other flags that hurt people, but not physically hurt people. You know what I mean? But just in general, like pride is a very positive thing. So I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, okay, whatever. And like my friend Kennedy, as I mentioned before, was behind me in line. And I looked at her like, cause I knew she had a flag, a little flag. And she's like looking at me, and I'm like, do you still have it? And she's like, it's hidden. And I'm like, okay. And then she asked me if I still had my Black Lives Matter flag. And I was like, yeah, it's my bag. I haven't taken it out all day because I know if I take it out, it's going to get taken by security. Because now, obviously now I know for sure, because this man is going stalking off, taking away pride. And in my head, pride is more accepted than Black Lives Matter. So I'm like, okay, if he's this way to pride, he's going to be trying to kick me out of the whole place for Black Lives Matter. So I kept that flag hidden. So we get taken in, and we get escorted. We have to walk because they don't want us running, obviously. We get escorted in, and I go up to the barricade, and I get barricade, which is like the first time this has ever happened to me. I've never gotten barricade for any show ever. And so I'm just super elated. I'm so happy. And like I mentioned before, I was 30, technically 29 in line. So this is like a whole new experience for me. I'm so happy the people behind me are so happy because they got it too. Like almost everyone got, I think everyone did get barricade, if it was, whether it was the front or the side. And I wanted the front because I wanted to have the good view. So that was super exciting. Like that's never happened before, like I mentioned. So I knew the show was just going to be a special one for me. So we're in there for a little bit before the regular people are able to come in, and the regular ticket people. And they come in, they come behind us, and like all in the stands and the floor and stuff, and it's totally fine. And this security guard comes into the pit once it's full, and he's like, anyone who has this sign needs to give it to me, or like put it away and not like put it out during the show, or they will be ejected. Ejected from the venue. Like he didn't use the word like taken away, or like the sign will be taken away, or they'll be like, you know, put somewhere or whatever. Like ejected from the venue. Like a freaking video cassette tape out of like the little slot in the VCR, like eject. Like that's what's gonna happen to you. So I was just like, okay. And I'm like looking at my mutuals who are also on the barricade, and they hear him, they like look at me because they know they have a flag and I have a flag as well. And we're like, we can't hold up our flags if the security guards are acting like this, like, and saying we're gonna get ejected. Like, we came here for a show. We didn't come here to get kicked out. Even though like this means so much to us, and like Pride and Black Lives Matter means so much to us, as well as all these other people and all the stands on Twitter who watch the live streams and who are waiting to see this happen every single show. So like we're just confused and all this stuff is happening. And he takes some people's signs away. Luckily, he didn't take everyone's. And luckily, people kept it hidden until like the very crucial time that we all hold up our flags and signs. So gotcha there, security. Yeah, security was crazy. The gray shirted security was very aggressive, and I appreciate their work, but I didn't appreciate their the way they went about their work. That was very aggressive and intimidating. I didn't like that. And I think the venue security, they wore red shirts. They were very kind and very helpful and very nice. I appreciated their work a lot. And not all the gray shirted security were bad. There was one guy, Brian, me and Kennedy talked to. He was an awesome man. I appreciated his work. I hope everything in life goes well for him because he deserves it. Also, besides the point, while that was happening and we were waiting for the opening act to come out, Kacey Musgraves, people in the stands weren't aware of all this that was happening down in the pit. So all this is happening, and people also have signs in the stands and flags. And security guards are trying to go up there and take them away from them. And I didn't hear about this until after the show and while I was on Twitter. But people were like chanting, "Give it back, give them back," like the signs and the things they're taking away from these fans and concert goers. And apparently the security gave up and just let them have their signs, which is super awesome. Like, these signs aren't hurting anybody. Like, it's just for being inclusive, you know? Like, this concert, especially Harry concerts, are supposed to be for everybody. He makes that very clear every show. Like, his show is for everybody from every background, and he doesn't care about that. Well, he cares, of course he cares, like, about everyone in their different backgrounds, but like, he wants everyone to be comfortable there and be who they are and have the best time of their life. So like, having the security guards like do the complete opposite was just mind-blowing to me. And they also told us that it was Harry's team who said that we couldn't have flags, which everyone knew that was a lie, because every single show, whether the venue said that we couldn't have flags or not, Harry still had a flag. Harry still had whatever he wanted, which allowed us to do whatever we wanted, because if the artist is doing it, like, we're gonna do it too, which is what eventually happened. So going back to the opening act, Kacey Musgraves, if you're into country or you want to listen to new music, she's an incredible artist. I would totally recommend her. And I'm not even the biggest fan of country music. Like, all my friends know, like, that's like my least favorite genre, even though I do have some artists that I do listen to and really like. But she was so good. Like, she was an incredible artist, and She was really entertaining. And she was super gorgeous. Like, the whole time I couldn't stop looking at her, and her outfit was amazing. And I'm just like, you're so beautiful. How are these people so beautiful? Like, it was just incredible. And I also started listening to her album like 2 weeks ago, because I don't like going to a show and not knowing at least one song from an artist, even if it's just the opening act. So I decided to listen to her album, and like, I knew almost all the words to the songs she sang, and I was like, this is incredible. This is so awesome. And so do a lot of people in the pit, and like, you could tell like it really meant a lot to her, because she knows it's not her, like, she's not the main act, but the appreciation that people that listen to Harry's music also listens to hers. Like, she made it very, very clear that she was really appreciative of it, and she was very open to the flags as well. Like, she's really awesome. She even thanked people for bringing their pride flags and stuff. And then we were all looking at security and being like, but anyway, so that happens, and then we wait for Harry to come on. Harry comes on. He's super happy. Like, his mood just like boosted the show like tenfold. Like, his mood just made everything better. And like, the crowd was so loud, my ears were ringing, and like, Harry was just not like in shock, but like, he had like a few moments where he just like giggled because he was just so happy. And that was like really cool to see in real life, because we see it on Twitter all the time, but like, seeing it in real life, just like the best thing ever. So the show's super awesome and everything. He's funny. He's joking around with the people in the stands. That's like one of the best parts of the show. It's like you get a little comedy act with it, because Harry's so freaking funny. He doesn't even know he's funny. Like, how does he not know? He's funnier when he's not trying to be funny, which is the best part. And he'll dance and stuff. Like, he'll imitate people's dancing. And like, Harry low-key has rhythm. Like, people are always like, he dances like a white man. I'm like, yeah, because he is a white man. But his dancing, I'm like, the boy has rhythm. Like, he was imitating people, and it was good. I was like, oh, okay, I see you. Just take a few classes, Harry. I see you. You'll be out there being backup dancers and stuff. Just kidding. But going back to the show, later on in the show, it's the last song before the encore, which is Sign of the Times, and that's our crucial moment. Everyone brings out their signs. Everyone's super emotional, because the song means so much to so many people on so many different levels. And that's when Black Lives Matter, like our project that we usually do, comes out. So we have our flags out and everything. Well, we didn't have it at first. So the song starts and everything, and then that's when everyone's like getting the courage to like put their flag out. Previously, and What Makes You Beautiful, Harry had taken a flag from a black stand in the barricade, Naomi, I mentioned earlier. And that was really emotional for all of us, because like, he's taken the flag before from stands, and that's always been great. Like, I'm so grateful for the girls that did that. 2 of them are my mutuals, thank God for them. But to have it from for him to take it from a black stand just meant so much to all of us. And like, I spoke to multiple people about this, multiple black stands afterwards about this, and it was just like they were just like, that feeling was just like a feeling I've never had before, and it's just incredible. And like, he doesn't even know how much this means to us sometimes, and I'm just like, I wish he knew. He probably does. I don't know. I don't know. But that happened, and that was like a great moment. He was just flinging it around. He had it held high, and it was like out, so you knew what it said, and it was just a great moment. And it was just funny, because the security guards earlier told us that we couldn't have those for multiple reasons. But when Harry had the flags out, that like opened all of us to be like, yeah, we're gonna have our flags out too. Like, you can't eject us. You can't eject us. You can't eject us now, because the artist himself is holding flags and stuff. So back to Sign of the Times. Sign of the Times happens, and like, I put my flag out. A girl near me does it. Another girl near me, my mutual, does it. And then there's like 2 other girls on the other side of pit who also put their flags out. And then people who didn't get their signs taken away because they had it hidden have their Black Lives Matter signs out. And it was just like an incredible moment. It was just so gorgeous. I hope someone took a picture of it. It was just so beautiful, and it was just a good time. That was a very emotional moment. And then after the song, he like he went to everyone who had a Black Lives Matter flag, and like looked us in the eye and thanked us. So he looked at me and talked to me and thanked me, and I was like, and blew a kiss to me. And I did the same thing back and said thank you. And I was just like, the most incredible intimate moment I've ever had with an artist before. I wouldn't say anyone, but with an artist before. And it was really cool. It was a good moment. And so that happened, and then the encore, and the crowd was we're still hype. Everything was crazy. It was a good time. Everyone was screaming. Like, nobody left until after Kiwi, which I'd say that's a great thing that his team decided to do, have Kiwi at the end, because everyone wants to listen to that song because it's the craziest Harry is during the show. Like, he goes off to Kiwi so bad. So good. But, yeah, that happened, and the show's over. And it was just, like, the best show I've ever been to. Like, of course, biased because I'm a Harry stan. But it was just, compared to all my other Harry shows, the two other ones I went to, like, this was the best Harry show to me. Like, it was just so special and so memorable, and so many moments, especially with the security guards being themselves, and then us defying that, and then them not being able to do anything because Harry also had a flag on stage. So, and he also kept the flag, so that's cool to see if he brings it back or something, you know. He didn't give it back to the person he gave it to, Laneone. So that was really cool. So after the show, I met a few mutuals, Haley and Sarah, and that was super awesome to see them in real life. They're so cute. And yeah, I waited with Kennedy until her mom and her friend came back to pick them up, and then I went home, got food at McDonald's, and then showered, went to bed. And that was my whole entire day yesterday. Like I mentioned before, best show I've ever been to. Totally recommend going to a Harry show. Even if you only know Sign of the Times or Kiwi, just go. Just go. It was a good time. Final thoughts. Like I mentioned before, I had a Lane 1 ticket. If you can afford it and you have the chance to do so, I would totally recommend doing Lane 1 Pit specifically, because that was just an experience like I'll never be able to forget. Like, that was just incredible. So I would totally recommend it. I understand not everybody can afford those because they are expensive tickets, even though these ones in particular are cheaper, I think cheaper than other Lane 1 tickets, but other Pit Lane 1 tickets. So I would totally recommend those if you have the chance to do so. Recommend to go to Harry if you have the chance. Even go to Kacey, because she was really, really, really good. Like, I would go to her show and be the only black one. I'm just kidding. Go to her show and have the best time ever. Her music's really good. And she's also inclusive like Harry. We need artists like that, who aren't afraid to show that they support these types of movements and stuff. And so, yeah, Lane 1, Harry, what else? I think that's about it. Oh, also, just like a disclaimer at the end, I know a lot of people say, like, you're not supposed to make concerts political, but, like, in my opinion, and I know in a lot of people's opinions, they don't find the lives of other people political in general. And that's just what I believe. If you think if you think the opposite, that's totally fine. That's valid, because it's your thoughts. But in my personal opinion, I don't think those are political things, even though the media has turned it into political things. So I just think it shows that we can all be here for one person, no matter where we're from, no matter what we believe, and still be included and feel like we matter, you know? So yeah, that's my opinion on everything. And thanks for watching if you watched this whole thing. I know I've been talking for like 29 minutes. But yeah, I just wanted to put my experience out there for anyone who might want to do Lane 1 in the future, because I might want to do it one day. Harry's next tour. Oh gosh, I'll be so old by then. But yeah, thanks for listening, and have a great day, and treat people with kindness, please.